are headed to a Game 7 in the 2025 NBA Finals, but that does not mean the Kevin Durant trade rumors are slowing down by any means. As a matter of fact, they actually are heating up as a trade may be close. Multiple NBA insiders are reporting that the Suns are about 1 to 2 pieces away from actually completing this Kevin Durant trade. We're going to get into all the latest reports as to if he's going to Miami, is he going to Houston, could he even end up in San Antonio or Minnesota? We'll talk about it in just a moment. But I'm going to throw this disclaimer out there before we start. Phoenix, can we just wait until Game 7 is over? Like, there's still awesome basketball left to be played. We don't need to be worried about Kevin Durant over the weekend. Game 7's on Sunday. You could even, after the buzzer is sounded, send that trade in to the league office. But let's just let the Pacers and the Thunder get this thing wrapped up, and let's crown a new NBA champion before the Kevin Durant trade actually goes down. Now, we are less than a week away from the 2025 NBA Draft, and we will be live here at Chat Sports. Nick Roloff, myself, will see an appearance as well. So join us for our NBA Draft Round 1 live stream on Wednesday. We have 410,000 subscribers strong here at Chat Sports, and I want you guys to be a part of it. So hit that sub button, turn notifications on so you know exactly when we go live for the NBA Draft. All right, so we know that the two closest teams at this point in time to making a Kevin Durant trade are the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets. There were a plethora of teams that had rumored interest at the start of these Kevin Durant trade talks, including the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, the Minnesota Timberwolves, even the Toronto Raptors have jumped into the Kevin Durant trade business. But as of right now, as far as the teams that are closest to getting a deal done, it's these two squads right here, Miami and Houston. The Spurs and the Timberwolves, at this point, they seem kind of out of it. Now, for different reasons, albeit. The Spurs, they don't seem like to have as much interest in Kevin Durant as originally reported, even though Durant has said, or at least his camp has said, that's the preferred destination. On the other hand, Minnesota, they apparently have a monster trade package to go out there and get KD. Now, they have made Jaden McDaniels untouchable in trade talks, but apparently they have a monster offer. However, Kevin Durant has said, or at least the reports have come out, that he is not willing to sign an extension in Minnesota. Doesn't like playing in the cold weather, KD does, so doesn't look like a Minnesota Timberwolves trade is all that likely, even though they might have the best package offered to Phoenix. NBA insider Jake Fisher has said, out of the two teams that are closest, his, quote, best educated guess would be that Kevin Durant ends up with the Miami Heat. And the basis of this claim that Fisher made was kind of like, yeah, the Heat have kind of been interested, and they never have really been presented or been presenting the best package overall for KD, but both sides, both Miami and Phoenix and Durant, are kind of all getting a little bit impatient to this point, and the market is drying up. A little bit similar to the way that the Golden State Warriors and Jimmy Butler came to be when that wasn't looking like the most likely destination for Jimmy Butler when those trade talks were heating up. It actually, as a matter of fact, was looking like he was headed to the Phoenix Suns, but those fell through. Things got too complicated, and the Warriors needed to make a move. So they went out there and made the swing for Jimmy Butler. Fisher thinks a similar thing could happen with KD and Miami. And as far as where Miami stands right now and their offer, it isn't necessarily too far away, but there is a player that they're kind of holding over the Suns' heads right now, not out of these Kevin Durant trade talks. So Brett Siegel of Clutch Points talked about this, and he said that although the two sides are not right at the finish line yet in trade talks, one player can get them there, and that would be Kel'el Ware, a rookie standout in Miami's front court, who is a giant with a 7'4 wingspan and two-way potential. If the Heat include Ware in a revamped package to what they've already offered, talks with the Suns will reach a whole new level as he is the player in Phoenix's wants in discussion with Miami. Now, look, I'll be honest, and Heat Report host Nick Roloff here at Chat Sports has agreed with this statement right here that Kel'el Ware would not, at least for me personally, would not stop me from making a Kevin Durant trade. Look, he is a very promising young player. He showed some flashes in his rookie season. He can be an elite shot blocker. He eventually is going to have a pretty patented outside game as well, and he's a guy who can put the ball on the deck and guard multiple positions. So I like Kel'el Ware a lot, but he doesn't seem to be looking like a future Hall of Famer in year one. You know, like he definitely looks like a trade chip that could be used for, the league's number 8 all-time leading scorer. I would not be held up by Kel'el Ware if I'm Miami, and I do think that they might end up giving in to Phoenix's demands sooner rather than later, as the NBA draft is less than a week away and moves have to be made. Now, a potential trade framework that could work out with the Miami Heat is as follows. Kevin Durant goes to Miami for Kel'el Ware, Andrew Wiggins, and Duncan Robinson. That would match up all the salaries. Now, Nick's contention when we were talking back and forth about, the Heat trade package was that the Suns, they can't have both, right? They can't have their cake and eat it too. They can either have Kel'el Ware or they can have the number 20 overall pick in the forthcoming draft. Both, that's off the table as far as Heat fans think. But I would be fine throwing Kel'el Ware in there and, just wrapping it up with this deal and no draft capital involved at all, even though Phoenix probably wants some, even because they don't have really any at this point. But if you were the Suns and you saw this trade package that, if he finally included Kel'el Ware, would you accept this trade that sends Wiggins and Duncan Robinson to Phoenix as well as the rookie standout center? A for accept, D for decline. You let me know if you would accept this trade or not in the comments section. You have to ask, though, because this feels like, according to all reporters right now, Brian Windhorst said, this is a game of chicken right now with a Kevin Durant trade. Could the Rockets be the ones to budge first? They have, a lot of, young talent that the Phoenix is going to want here. However, they're not looking to give up really any of that young talent outside of Jalen Green. Siegel with more here, saying Jalen Green and the 10th overall pick in this year's draft present a clear opportunity for the Rockets to swing a deal. But the Suns have demanded more. Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, and Reed Shepherd are among the young talents in Houston that Phoenix has interest in. The Rockets have not yet been willing to part with any of the three to this point. Look, the Suns do not even want Jalen Green in the deal. They do not want a 6'3" inefficient shot chucker who doesn't play any defense on their roster. They have enough of those guys right now. They have a Bradley Beal. They don't want Bradley Beal light on their roster. So Jalen Green, they're probably going to look to reroute to a third team, which could complicate a Rockets and Suns trade because you have to get a whole other trade partner involved in order to take on Jalen Green's contract. So I don't know how realistic a Rockets Suns 1-for-1 trade is if Jalen Green is the centerpiece of the deal. It doesn't seem like Houston wants him at this point. And if the Rockets aren't willing to give those young talents of Reed Shepherd, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, well, there's another name on down their depth chart that could be included as well. Cam Whitmore, who fell in the draft last year after being a widespread projected lottery pick, elite scorer off of the bounce. He could be included in a deal. He's still super young, the wing out of Villanova who could put the ball in the cup. So absolutely, this still could come to fruition without those guys because Phoenix could end up lowering their asking price altogether just to get KD out of the building. To be honest, kind of like Kel'el Ware, Tari Eason wouldn't keep me from a Kevin Durant trade either. I like Eason as a player. Awesome defender. Gives you a ton of effort on both ends. Can hit the outside shot. Did you watch the Rockets in the half-court offense against Golden State? It was absolutely atrocious. They couldn't get anything going in isolation. Durant fixes that problem entirely. Tari Eason's not holding me up for making a KD trade. However, he might not have to because the Phoenix Suns might have to lower their asking price altogether. Apparently, it used to be super high because we already heard from a Rockets athletic reporter that they already lowered the asking price for Durant. Apparently, it might have to get even lower. Dwayne Rankin of AZ Central, local Arizona news, who probably has better insight on this Kevin Durant Suns angle than anybody else. He says the Phoenix Suns may be placing too high a value on Kevin Durant and might have to reduce their asking price in negotiating a trade, according to the Arizona Republic. The Suns, quote, have no leverage in part because of Durant's age and because he wants to start fresh elsewhere. The idea of Durant returning to a team that entertained trade deals for him before the 2025 deadline isn't a pleasant one. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of pleasantry going on in the Phoenix Suns locker room at this point. We heard a new rumor today that in this past year, there were multiple fistfights within the Phoenix Suns locker room. So do you want to take that? And by the way, DeMarcus Cousins reported that. I wonder if Kevin Durant was the one that told him. But regardless, do you want to carry with this and a disgruntled player in the next season? Absolutely not. Phoenix is trading Kevin Durant this summer. It's just a matter of when and a matter of how much is going back to the Suns in any projected deal. And to be honest, there seems to be only a 3-day window for this to get done if it takes until after the NBA Finals have concluded on Sunday. You're only going to have Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday is the NBA draft. If there's draft capital going away in a Kevin Durant trade, especially with the Rockets who have the number 10 overall pick, then this is going to have to get done very, very soon. So Kevin Durant, by this time next week, you are probably going to be on a brand new team. It's just a matter of who and how much is given up. What do you guys think, though? Where does he end up? If it's with the Miami Heat, type MIA in the comment section. If it's with Houston, give me an HOU. Where does Kevin Durant play in 25-26? Looks like he's going to be wearing red either way. That will do it for today's edition of NBA Now by Chat Sports. Lock us in. Hit that sub button because when KD does get traded, we're going to bring you the latest right here on the channel. And we will be live for the NBA draft. So lock us in. Turn your noties on as well. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay cool.